I'm Izzy, and this is Dizzy Quilts and Sews. Welcome to episode 19 of Friday Sews. As always, a thank you to Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room for creating this wonderful hashtag. And don't forget to use the hashtag on YouTube to find a bunch of other videos from sewing vloggers like me who share a little bit about what's going on in their sewing room and in their life every Friday. So I've had a good week in the sewing room. I've been pretty productive. I have one finished garment, not for me, but a finished garment. I have a finished cat placemat, and I have a bit of a, again, I don't want to call those fails, but a bit of a learning experience. So let's jump right in. So first things first, the finished garment. I made another galaxy tee for my daughter. She loved the first one I made her, so I made her another one with exactly the same type of fabric, but in a different color. So this is a pointel knit that I got from the Fabric Snob. It's in the mint colorway. It's a beautiful light green. Now it looks a little crumpled because it was on my cutting table it's been there for 3 days now. But yeah, super simple sew. It fits her perfectly. I did remember to put a little label this time around, so you are loved. Yeah, I love this t-shirt. I sent her a picture of it when I finished it, and she loves it. So that was a very successful sew. I'm very happy with it. And now I'm really tempted to try and make one for myself. I think I would like this. The only thing is it doesn't have any bust darts, and it's probably not drafted for a double D cup. So I'll have to figure out how to do a full bust adjustment, or just Google a full bust adjustment on a knit pattern without a dart, and possibly make myself one of these because I think it's really cute. And if I am going to make one for myself, I really should get going with it, because those short puffy sleeves really won't fit under a cardigan. So this would definitely be a summer make. So yeah, very pleased with project number 1 this week. Project number 2 is my cat placemat. So I've been talking about this for weeks now and finally got it done. So I didn't actually use scraps for this placemat. I used fat 8s that had been in my stash for, I'm not lying, years. It was a bundle, and I used most of the bundle to make a quilt for one of my kids, again, years ago. And I had a few fat 8s left, so I turned them into this little placemat. I used a coordinating fabric for the back. I quilted it with straight lines up here, and then a kind of a grid down in the little squares. I love this. I did change. I mean, I didn't follow the instructions for making this. I thought the instructions just overcomplicated things. So like, instead of putting the backing in 2 pieces and leaving the middle open to turn it out, anyways, I just, one solid piece, I left an opening at the bottom, turned it inside out, pushed out the ears, and then top stitched all around to close this little gap. I mean, this worked perfectly. I used cotton batting in there. It was a scrap, and it's like the perfect thickness. It's not so thick that like the cat dish is gonna get wobbly or whatever. It's perfect. I love this. And it took me, including the pressing of my fabric, the cutting of everything, and then sewing it up, quilting it, all of it took me about 2 hours from beginning to end. So super, super quick make. It was so much fun. You really don't have to think about anything. Just I was listening to Netflix and cranked this out last night. So yes, very, very pleased with my little cat placemats. And now I'm going to make, I have enough actually of this fabric to make at least a couple more. So I'm going to make at least one more for my boys, my 2 cats, and maybe another one for my daughter's cat as well. So project number 2 was another really fun and quick and successful one. Now for the learning experience. So I mentioned last week, and I showed you the fabric I was going to use for it, that I wanted to make the Meet You There dress by Pattern Emporium. So I sewed up, I used the pink fabric. I shared this last week. I used this to basically test the fit. Although the fabric is beautiful, it really was not an expensive rayon. It's actually a rayon challis that I got a couple years ago from Minerva, I believe. So I made the bodice and one tier. I put the ties on the side. I used bias binding that I had left from my last Rhapsody blouse. And it's a mess. It's huge on me. There is gaping at the armholes. It looks like a tent, even if I use the ties. And I did such a bad job with the bias binding. It was just impossible to put this in. And I went on Instagram and did a search of the hashtag for the Meet You There dress, and I Googled the dress to see images, and to be honest, I did not see many all made up and finished that the neckline looked nice and flat. They all kind of fell over. I don't know why there's not a real facing for this dress, or an all-in-one facing, including the armholes. Like even the armholes, well, they look a little bit better. Actually, they look a lot better. But they're just huge. They're huge. So I think this pattern is not for me. It would just be way too much work to, and I'm not crazy about the construction method. Anyways, it's just not the pattern for me. So I think what I've decided to do instead of using this pattern, if I want to make myself a tiered sleeveless dress, I'm going to use the Ashton top. That fits me really, really well. I've made the adjustments I needed to make to it. It's got an all-in-one facing, which I love. And Helen from Helen's Closet posted a hack for the Ashton top on her blog to allow you to basically turn the top into a tiered dress. So if I really want to make myself a tiered dress before the end of the summer, I'm just going to use Helen's hack and the Ashton top to make it. So a bit of a waste of money and a waste of fabric and a waste of time, but hey, yeah. So if you have experience making this Meet You There dress, tell me about the neckline binding or facing, as she calls it in the pattern. Like, it really didn't work for me. Also, the yoke at the back is very, very small. Anyways, not a fan, just not a fan. So this fabric is going to get recycled into something else probably. And I'm just going to forget about this pattern. Next on my cutting table is my bathing suit. So I've talked about it enough now. I've procrastinated enough. I need to make myself a bathing suit. My vacation is coming up at the end of August. I would really like to have it for then. So I will use the 5 out of 4 pattern, and I'll put pictures up here because I can't remember the name. I think it's the Sue bottoms and the Peggy top. So it's basically a tankini with some little shorts. So yeah, so I'm going to cut my muslin definitely this week. I'm off on Monday. It's a holiday in Canada on Monday. So Monday, I'm hoping I'm going to cut everything out and start sewing my muslin so that I can have a finished bathing suit in time for my vacation. And that is the only plan I'm allowing myself. So I'm just going to keep going with the bathing suit until it is done. And that is pretty much it in the sewing room for me this week. As far as life, it's been pretty quiet over here, to be honest. I had a great weekend. The weekend past, a girlfriend of mine who used to work with me, she left the company 8 years ago now. We connected again in June, and she came over to the cottage on Saturday and spent the day with her family, and it was just awesome to see her again. So that was super fun. And then the rest of the weekend was super quiet. And this week was just really, really busy with work and the little projects that I just showed you. So yeah, nothing out of the ordinary in the life department this week. The question of the week this week is a fun one. So what type of garment is your favorite to sew? So I think my favorite is a woven top, like this one. So this is the Seychelles top by Itch to Stitch. Love making this. I have 2 of them now. The Rhapsody blouse is another amazing woven top that I love to sew. Yeah, I have to say that my favorite finished garments and the ones that I enjoyed sewing the most are woven tops. I started as a quilter, so sewing stable woven fabrics just comes very easily to me. So yeah, those are definitely my favorite types of garments to make. I would love to hear what your favorites are, so leave them in the comments. What type of garments do you prefer making and why? I would love to know. And that's going to be it for me this week. I hope you've had a wonderful week and that you have a fabulous weekend. Please leave me a like on your way out if you like the video and consider subscribing to the channel. I would love that. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see you soon.